the Daughters of Liberty were very keen on spinning as a patriotic action. They would gather together and dust out their old spinning wheels. Before then, you'd buy your commodities in England, and there we go, in England or France. But as a means of patriotism, they would start spinning again. And spinning to weave wool was a wonderful thing because you would make your homespun clothing, and you would also start spinning for your weaving of various other commodities. This wheel is a colonial wheel, and I'm just spinning Shetland, gray Shetland, that will make a wonderful shawl. Once I've spun it, it goes into lovely hanks of yarn. This is dyed with onion skin to give it some color and interesting things. They did have roving in the colonies. They did have access to carders, and so you could get lovely wool. Here I have examples of different things that could be woven. This is a nice rectangular shawl, homespun and home woven. Add a little bit of extra warmth to your day. In the colonies, the ladies didn't have sweaters so much. They had shawls. This little Sontag shawl was woven out of 3 strands of wool that were spun, and then you would put that around your shoulders, and then you would pin it. And the nice thing about these is your arms are always free, so you don't get issues with your arms. Sometimes they would make little shawls like this, and they would have wraparound ties. This one, you use your nice little pin, and you pin it together and onto your jacket, and it stays neat and tidy. You could do plain tabby weave, or you could do decorative stitches. I've added a little bit of lino lace weave in this just for fun. So in the colonies, when they got their spinning bees, it was not just for spinning, it was for making things that you no longer would buy from Britain and France, and you had started to make your own clothing out of these things as a patriotic gesture.
5.
This is another type of spinning wheel. In the immigrants from Germany, from the Scandinavian countries, some of the Low Countries, Netherlands, they couldn't have a plain wheel. For some reason, your spinning wheel, which was part of your furniture in your household and kept out, it was important that it was decorative. This one is simple rose molding from Scandinavia, and this wheel can spin wool or flax. But to decorate your wheel was something that you would do because your wheel was a common part of your household, and for some reason the Germans and the Scandinavians didn't like things plain. It was important to have things that were beautiful and decorative, and my ancestors came from Scandinavia, and my great-grandmother, one of the things we suspect why they wanted to decorate things so much was the winters were very dark, and so you had color in your household, bright, beautiful color, year-round, and you didn't have to wait for summer for the colors. So you would decorate them in bright, beautiful, natural tones. And that's what this wheel does. It's just cheerful, and I enjoy spinning on it. We'd like to thank you for joining us in our little foray in history, talking about the Daughters of Liberty, talking about what women did to help benefit the patriots. One thing we'd like to highlight in conclusion was these ideas of manufacturing our own goods was an act of rebellion. It was illegal. In the 1760s, it was written by law from England that the colonies were to produce goods, send them to England where they were manufactured and sold back to the colonists where they could be taxed. It was illegal for us to produce our own products except for things we might just use with our own household. But to produce lace or flax, cloth, tape to sell was an act of rebellion, which is exactly what the Daughters of Liberty liked to do. And in that, we're grateful that you would take the time to watch this. We're grateful that hopefully you've learned something. Hopefully you will pick up your own little act of rebellion in your own handcraft so that you can understand the excellent properties of being independent and being able to do your own manufacturing or your own goods and the satisfaction it takes. It takes time to learn these things, but it's time well worth doing, well spent. And we thank you again for joining us, and have a good day.
Thank you.